This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Brandon Andrus Green.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you planning to build, restore, or maybe even develop a property without losing control of the process? Well, the solution may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Oscar Garcia with Valmonte Enterprises. Oscar, how's it going, brother?
It's going very good.
So I know that you guys kind of work across, let's say, custom builds, outdoor living, and development. Can you kind of give me an idea of what all that really means?
Yeah, so anyone that's looking to possibly have the idea of possibly building the dream home or whether even something to build and then sell, we help out with the whole entire process. Something beginning as an idea, doing like the designing blueprints, even just finding that plot of land to really like get you guys, I guess, the ideal structure for if you're looking to build to then sell. We walk you through the whole entire thing from finishes to designing to then basically bring it to life, and then where you guys actually have the keys back in your guys' hand. And that's our I would say our procedure if we're going to be doing building homes, doing custom homes. If we're doing anything such as like let's say outdoor living areas, it's pretty much just that concept of that idea that people have as far as like it's hot in summer. We're thinking about a pool. We're thinking maybe an area we can gather, throw parties, 4th of July events such as like that, family gatherings.
And what's the development piece?
The development piece would basically be anything that, such as someone that has a bright idea to possibly, let's say, an investor has a bright idea to go ahead and, let's say, hey, we want to go ahead and look at this piece of land and what can we do with it? Is it worth possibly doing multifamily? Is it worth possibly putting a house to build, then sell, build to rent? Kind of determining that determining factor whether if it's something that's going to be more worth it for ideal situation for an exit strategy.
Nice. And I noticed that your company talks about beginning with clarity before construction. What really needs to become clear before like a homeowner should ever sign a contract or break ground?
Well, in our space, ideally, there's a lot of I would say we get into the idea of possibly building something. Then, as we're going through the process, we have hidden hidden surprise here, a hidden surprise here. The idea that we primarily like to work with, we like to go ahead and make sure that you guys know every step of the process before even committed to actually going through with the idea because we get it. It's construction. Construction. There's a lot of behind the scenes. Unfortunately, buy a piece of land, we don't know what the soil is like. For example, we don't know if utilities need to be placed. We're thinking about possibly building, but we don't have easements. We don't have restrictions. We don't even know about anything like that. So we make sure to go ahead and go into the proper delegation to make sure that we know exactly what we're walking into.
You know, you mentioned behind the scenes. I would think that building or remodeling a home can quickly become very emotional for some people. How do homeowners tend to worry about what do homeowners tend to worry about most, and kind of how do you help them navigate those feelings?
Well, we first go ahead and get the ideal concept of what they're actually looking to possibly get. Then let's say for example we put a design together, let them know, hey, based on this, we're gonna go ahead and see about permits. We're gonna have to see with the city. We're gonna talk with your HOA. Do they allow this? Do they not allow this? What do they actually allow in this certain neighborhood? With that being the case, then we later on look at the current situation, such as let's say for example, can your house support this weight? Is your house actually, let's say, ideal to go ahead and attach a porch to it? Do you have the proper easements for actual pool in the back? So little things like that before getting, I guess you could say, a surprise, such as a fine, such as possibly an HOA warning, or such as from the city coming in saying you have to stop construction, stop production, and you have all these thousands of dollars already spent.
Have you found there's any common construction myths or misconceptions that kind of creates trouble for these homeowners?
I would say the ideal situation that I often hear about a lot of times is I was told it was this. Now it's everything plus the original thing you originally told me about. So in an idea, somebody got quoted for X amount. Then as construction happens, we never talked about what could possibly worst case scenario be before actually committing. Then we were without even more money than we originally anticipated.
That makes sense. And I know we've also mentioned you guys deal with development projects and not just individual renovations. How does your thinking kind of change when you're planning something that will affect several homes or in an entire area?
Well, let's in an example, you're referring more to like let's say an individual that was more of an investor looking to do a development to then build and sell or build to rent. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
So the ideal situation there is we want to take a little bit a look at the market, what house they're actually selling for, what the price per square foot selling for, and in determining okay, is the cost of construction worth it here to then sell to then rent? So we take a little bit, I guess you can call it, of a market strategy to see and let us know what would be the best case scenario and worst case scenario. So me myself, I take a look at these things because it's very critical for all of us. If they're not getting their end goal, then obviously we're not going to be someone that's going to be well recommended around the whole entire aspect of Tulsa. So we put together let's call it the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, your house sells for X amount of dollars for a certain dollar per square foot. Best case scenario, it sells for the top dollar at a certain square footage for X amount of dollars, let's say square foot. So we take a look at both of them and tell them, hey, worst case scenario, we could potentially be running into these issues. If we see these issues, we can only potentially see this in profit. If we don't have these issues, this is what our profit's going to look like.
Makes sense. And I know from the homeowner's perspective, we often hear words like, let's say, craftsmanship, quality, integrity from it seems like almost every contractor. What do those words actually look like on a Valmonte a job site?
Well, I would say more than anything, anybody can say it. Is it written down? Is it actually something that, let's say, for example, you have a proven track record of actually people testifying or having testimonies that, hey, you know what, we've dealt with this company and they've actually stuck to their word. Let's say an accident happened for whatever reason. Were they someone that just walked away from the problem, or was someone that actually faced the problem and helped you guys out?
What trends are you guys kind of seeing right now in the Tulsa area, or maybe just Oklahoma in general, when it comes to what homeowners and investors are wanting from a property?
I believe that homeowners want to make sure that they're going to get exactly what they're looking for, such as from finishes, and make sure that here's the biggest thing that I've run across. The biggest thing that I've run across is most homeowners, they tell me, hey, Oscar, yes, sir, we would like to know how much it would cost us to build. Let's say, for example, they get quoted for many, many times, and these quotes, let's just say it's a whole entire dollar figure. So people don't really know the breakdown or don't really know what they're paying for exactly in certain scenarios. So the idea is to be completely transparent as possible and go through every little line item. And the way that we do things here, especially with investors, is we make sure to go ahead and see what their kind of budget is, and if we can work around it, kind of suggesting, okay, hey, I have possibly other connections to where we can get potential, let's say, material. Let's say, for example, if here in Tulsa market, let's say material was double the cost, right? But let's say that this gentleman, which is an investor, had, let's say, about 6 different properties and he wanted to go ahead and build something. Well, there's wholesaling material manufacturers, just as like in Dallas. So that would probably be worth the trip for investors to go ahead and make that trip and then, let's say, get material up here and then pay a fractional price.
Makes sense. And where are you guys working?
So primarily, it's going to be Tulsa. We are in Northwest Arkansas and we are in Oklahoma City as well.
And how did you even get started in this line of business?
This line of business I started in roughly about 5 years ago. I'm currently 26 years old. I started at 21. I got into the contracting space, specifically storm restoration. And from there led to one thing, then led to another, then led to another. Eventually, we got into the space of building homes. In the beginning, I started off as someone that was just doing project management. As time went on, they felt a little bit more comfortable with letting me walk through the whole entire process. And during that process, when I gained the information and gained like what people are actually looking for. And since we worked with a lot of investors during that time frame, we kind of got the idea of what they're actually, I guess, hoping to get out of the whole entire transaction. They want to go ahead and deal with as least as possible, take the headache away, and make sure that you can go ahead and get them that dollar that they're looking for.
And, Oklahoma's, the land of tornadoes. Does Valmonte also handle restorations?
So it's something that we did for a very, very long time. As we started getting into the more custom home space, we primarily want to go ahead and take care of that. But as we're speaking currently, we have a couple of projects such as in the Tulsa area, Coweta, Bixby, Jinx, and also a small town outside of here where I grew up in called Tahlequah. There's been hail, there's been wind, there's been these crazy tornadoes. So any small catastrophe, well, actually pretty big catastrophe like that, we help out with the insurance process. If a house has been burned down, we help out with that whole entire insurance process to get basically what you've paid for in insurance back and help you guys out with the whole entire restoration.
That's great. And so, Oscar, what's one thing that you really want our listeners to really remember about Valmonte Enterprises?
Well, we are a company that basically started in Texas. I'm originally from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, moved to Texas a couple of years ago. We originally started, came back here where basically the old stomping grounds, if you may say. It's somewhere where I would say I grew up in, and I want to make sure that I go ahead and put an impact on the place that basically watched me grow.
It's awesome. And how can people learn more, maybe connect with you guys and hire you?
One more time, please. I'm sorry.
What's the best way for our listeners to learn more, connect, and even possibly hire you guys?
We have a website. It's www.valmonteenterprises.com. In there, you'll be able to see, they'll have a questionnaire at the very, very top, depending if it's an outdoor space, if it's restoration, or if it's something like a custom home build. The procedure for it is we have a meeting, a consultation, if we may say. We meet together, kind of get an idea of what you guys are looking for. We create a design or a blueprint on what your idea specifically is. I believe that if people are going to trust someone enough to go ahead and spend, let's say, X amount of dollars for a certain idea, I want to make sure that I can bring that idea to life, not just something you were hoping and praying that you would eventually get and hoping to your liking. So that would be basically the scenario for us to go ahead and connect, meet with each other, and ultimately get you guys, I would say, a proposal on what it would cost. And ultimately, if it's within your guys' means and budget, or if we can help out with the finance, we'd be more than happy to.
That's great. And Oscar, so appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited for people to hear your story. I wish you and Valmonte Enterprises the best moving forward.
Thank you for the invitation, Brandon.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnptulsa.com. That's gnptulsa.com. Or call 918-301-6356.